Idea that you can only give them 5 more years of the VCF because you're not quite sure what's going to happen 5 years from now. Well, I can tell you, I'm pretty sure what's going to happen 5 years from now. More of these men and women are going to get sick and they are going to die. They responded in 5 seconds. They did their jobs with courage, grace, tenacity, humility. 18 years later, do yours.
Now to a huge victory for 9/11 first responders.
Overwhelmingly passed, 97-2. Survivors cheered, as did their longtime advocate, comedian Jon Stewart.
Jon Stewart is an American hero who fights for American heroes. And here's why.
Why this bill isn't unanimous consent is beyond my comprehension.
Not just for moments like this.
You at the meeting and say, "Are you eating it with a fork? A f***ing fork? No!"
Or for this photo of him with Mitch McConnell walking by before a vote on a permanent authorization for funding for 9/11 first responders. But for the fact that he turned his outrage into action, becoming a voice for those who gave their lives trying to save people on that horrific day in 2001. Now, as maddening as it is that merely the sacrifice of those first responders and the heroics they performed after 9/11 wasn't enough to ensure there would be unlimited funding for their care, this is the society we live in.
I wasn't angry about the chairs that weren't supposed to be filled not being filled. I was angry about the chairs that were supposed to be filled that weren't.
That the same government who near not blink at a tax bill offering tax cuts to the wealthiest people in the country want to pinch pennies from the pockets of the most vulnerable members of the country. But that is where we're at. And so we need the voices of those with a platform. We need them to care. And Jon Stewart, well, he cared. He cared enough to use his platform to advocate for those struggling to breathe as a result of their sacrifice.
I am awfully tired of hearing that it's a 9/11 New York issue. Al-Qaeda didn't shout death to Tribeca.
The first time he cared, he got Crossfire cancelled. The second time, he got this bill passed by giving one of the most impassioned speeches in front of those very members of Congress who sought to halt funding for the 9/11 first responders. Of course, he stood side by side with those first responders who were able to attend, and as Jon Stewart often reiterated, they are the true heroes. And as I said, in a perfect world, they would be honored by a government that supposedly cares so much about sacrifice and patriotism that they would continue to fund their needs. But as often we find with Republican candidates, it's just lip service.
And we sat in your office 5 years ago. You could have had that conversation. You could have had that conversation at any point during those 5 years. You're a senator. Have it with your colleagues, but don't do it on the eve of these people's hopes and dreams of finally putting this behind them.
And in this imperfect world where celebrities can become presidents, it is crucial that those who have a large megaphone use it to enact change and give a voice to the voiceless.